All right, so welcome everybody. This is a presentation for occupational therapy students who are interested in learning more about how you can become more involved in the Student Journal for Occupational Therapy. So we have with us tonight the student editor from the journal, and we also have one of the faculty mentors with us tonight from the journal as well. So you can get a good idea of what the opportunities are with the editorial process. You can become a peer reviewer for the journal, or you can become an editor for the journal, or both eventually. But there are different things that you can do at different stages throughout your education here. So if you're a first termer, or if you are in your third, fourth term, etc., you can join at any stage and learn a lot about the editorial process and also get professional development, all of those things, and get great research experience and really understand how the journal publication process works. So with that, I am going to introduce you to Jennifer Allison, and she is going to go through this presentation since she is one of your classmates. And she is the managing editor right now, or senior editor?
Senior editor.
Senior editor. So we have two. We have managing and senior, right?
Yeah.
So she is the senior editor for the journal. So take it away, Jennifer.
Thank you. So I will let you guys know I am losing my voice a little. So if I squeak occasionally, I've got my lemon tea here helping me out. But I'll do my best to get through it and call in reinforcements if needed. So as Barbara mentioned, I am a student. I'm in my 7th term. I just finished my capstone class, and I'm entering my capstone experience. And my capstone is actually in research. So I've been involved with the student journal for over a year and a half now. I joined in my 3rd term, and a lot of what I learned has really fed into my capstone experience and my ability to do research and look at it a little bit more critically. So I'm going to introduce to you today a little bit about what we do and what we're going to be looking at. And kind of looking today, our goals are just to describe who we are. If you've never heard of us, that's okay, but hopefully we're going to become more aware of us, and you can shout from the rooftops and share our story. Who is involved and how they're involved, and especially for you as students, what you guys can do, even if you don't become a peer reviewer, what could you do to help us become more known? So within that, kind of going to the next one, it's what is the, oh, sorry, is the slide moving for you? Oh, okay, sorry. So what is the Student Journal of Occupational Therapy? So it was created in 2019, so we're not that old. It was created by Eric Robinson, who is a librarian with the university, and the first publication actually went out in 2020. So the goal is to publish 2 articles a year, but that just kind of depends on what we get, how many we get with each year. And it's completely run by students with advisors and mentors to help us through the process, because we're still learning too, but ultimately we are the ones who derive this journal. So our mission is to provide somewhere for students to submit articles and for peer reviewers, so students to peer review and push them through to that publication process, and really provide that foundation of learning. So we do want students to learn. So there's a lot of back and forth in order to help guide students who are submitting research. And that's a lot of what I do, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. So for the next one, we talk about the types of publications. So we do focus on evidence-based primarily. So we are looking for qualitative and quantitative research. We accept from universities across the US, but we will accept different types of papers, including opinion pieces, book reviews, different types of advocacy and policy development. Typically what we've gotten since I've been a part of it is more traditional research, but we'd like to broaden a little bit more as we move forward and get some more like different types of papers coming forward to us. So again, we get most of our papers from here in the US, but we are an open access journal, which means anyone anywhere can access us. All they have to do is go to our journal and can get access to the articles we publish. This is just a screenshot from the SOAR website where our journal is located. and it shows our distribution across the globe. So those little dots that you see are people who've opened articles that have been published by us. So that's when they open it. And that's just a screenshot of a moment in time. So at that point, there was 74 people in the last, I think it was 4 hours in that span. So if you go on the SOAR website, you can see some of the distribution that we have, which is kind of neat. So as for who we have that runs this, again, we're student-based, but we need guidance. So we're based in an editorial board. So these are the people who are kind of running the background of the journal. So it's made up of students and staff that I'm going to talk about in the next slide as to who they are. The peer reviewers, that's the students who are going to join in as volunteers. These are the ones who really drive us forward, because we need people who are going to look at the articles and review them in order to publish them. So when you join as a peer reviewer, this is you. You will get 1 to 2 manuscripts per term, depending on how many we get and how many reviewers we have. And typically those manuscripts, they can take 4 to 5 hours to go over. And then you're expected to attend a 1-hour monthly meeting. So those meetings will cover a variety of research topics. You can pick things that you are interested in and suggest them, or professors will come forward and talk about their research. We often do a peer review group practice. So we'll actually send everybody the same paper and we'll review it together to see who sees what within their peer review. Expert peer reviewers are typically going to be faculty or practicing OTs. And so what we do is when a peer reviewer gets it, we also send it to an expert in that area. So you're not the only one doing the review. There's going to be someone else who has expertise in that area doing it as well. And we're going to combine that feedback and send it out to the authors to correct and then send back to us. At that point, as a peer reviewer, you're pretty much done with that article. You don't have to do anything more. You just await your next peer review. And then the last part of the whole process and what we need on our team is advocates. So faculty are acting as our advocates, and they're really trying to encourage students to join or at least be aware of us and know that we're there. So if you're working on a research project, maybe you're looking at, could you publish with us someday? That would be great. Or join us as a peer reviewer, learn more about the process, and that can help you later on if you want to publish. And then students can also talk about this once you're here. Advocate to your peers. If you happen to be talking to someone who seems really interested in research, encourage them to join as well. So I mentioned the editorial board. So this is kind of the behind the scenes people who are going to keep this, the student journal in operation. So we have myself, I'm the senior editor. So what I do is I oversee the peer review process and the publication. So I don't actually do peer reviews anymore. I send them out. So all of our peer reviews are blinded, so you don't know whose paper it is or where it's from, and they don't know who you are either. So I am the one who sends out that information and then the center point for communication with the authors. Then I'm the one who will check to make sure they input the peer review data or peer review information before going to publication. Megan is the managing editor. She's a student here in San Marcos, California with me, and she's also one of my cohort, and she does the same thing, except for she's blinded originally to all the research, so she can't see who the authors are until I assign her an article, because I keep her as a peer reviewer in case I need it, but otherwise she's helping with all of the publication. Adam is our librarian who's actually going to publish on SOAR. So if you haven't been on our SOAR website, we're going to give you the link at the end, but he's going to be the one who's responsible for kind of making sure that everything's formatted and published. And then we have our 3 awesome faculty. So Dr. Girardi is here with us today, but they're going to kind of help guide this process. And when, if you have any questions or we're concerned about an article, they're going to be the ones who help us guide through what can we do to help these students get publication ready and send that information forward. So kind of why should you get involved in the student journal? Well, I'm a big advocate of it. I think you can learn so much, and really it enhances what you learn in class. So in all of the EIP and the scholarly classes, the stuff that you're learning, this gives you really a chance to apply it in a real life environment. Like these are actual journals these are actual articles that are going to be published in the journal and go out into the world for people to use and reference and look at. So I think it's a great opportunity also for that lifelong learning and gaining skills and that evidence-based practice. So we talk so much about it. This is going to help you in practice someday when you're looking for research on a certain topic and trying to understand it. You'll know more about whether or not the research is valid, reliable, whether it's a rigorous process. Is this actually an article that makes sense to look at? So these skills are really going to kind of anchor in what you're learning in class. It also is great for your resume. So to say that you are a peer reviewer, it's always a good thing to kind of have that extra little bit of, I'm gonna say, oomph on your resume. This is something that you can put on there, as well as it's a professional development opportunity. And it does align with the ACOT standards. So what we're supposed to be learning as students, this aligns very well with that. I'm trying to keep my voice going a little bit longer. So there's 2 stages to becoming a peer reviewer. So in first and second term, really what we want from you is that you're learning what occupational therapy is and really learning to the process, the domain and process of occupational therapy. And we want you to really understand what that is as sort of an anchor before you start peer reviewing articles on occupational therapy. So typically in first and second term, we would like you to become an apprentice if you're interested. And what that means is that you will just attend the monthly meetings. You won't be a peer reviewer yet. You might participate in some of the practice peer reviewing and start to learn about the process, but you won't be a peer reviewer yet. In order to apply for that, you do need a personal letter and a letter of recommendation. The personal letter is just, why do you want to join us? What do you think how will we benefit you? How will you benefit us? If you have research experience, let us know what you've done and just anything that you think would be relevant for us to know. Typically that's about a half page to a page. And then the letter of recommendation from the faculty is required as well. And then you'll become an apprentice and kind of hang out with us. If you do have a lot of research experience, there is a chance that you can become a peer review sooner, but that's to be decided by the editorial board once you join. In third term, once you have kind of that foundation in what occupational therapy is and have taken some of the scholarly classes, you can join to be a peer reviewer. And the only difference with joining as a peer reviewer is that you have to complete the training through the Web of Science. So as soon as you're ready to become the peer reviewer, you send us those letters. Same letters, one a personal and one faculty recommendation. And then we will send you the link to the Web of Science Academy so that you can complete that course. It takes about 2 hours and does include a practice peer review at the end. And then once you're done that, we kind of help you learn the process once you're actually in it. You're never alone doing a peer review. We're here to help. So then an editor, so the next step up, I guess, kind of from a peer, so we do kind of have a hierarchy, is to go to become an editor. So there's 2 areas for editors. There's the managing editor and the senior editor. And I kind of mentioned that earlier where I'm the senior editor. I used to be the managing editor. So I went from peer reviewer to managing editor to senior editor. And that just is a process that allows us to have someone who has experience lead the rest of the team and kind of run the behind the scenes stuff. So typically in the past, we've only had one of each, but as we continue to grow, we're hoping to grow more in that and kind of have a senior manager and then several managing editors and juggle throughout the terms. But that also helps us keep someone moving from managing editor into the senior editor role as the senior editor graduates and leaves. Because we do have turnover. I'll graduate in May and be gone. So we're hoping to have someone take over my spot. Megan also graduates in May next year. So we'll both be leaving. And so we'll need someone in to take over for that. In order to gain or to become an editor, you have to be nominated and elected by the editorial board. So what they're going to be looking for is students who are attending those meetings, engaging in the monthly meetings, saying yes to the peer reviews when they get them. And ideally, they're in different terms. So we like to have a senior editor who's in a higher term and kind of gain that experience, and then a managing editor who's a term or 2 below them so that they can take over and then someone else moves in. but it kind of depends how many people we have at any given time for students and papers. So how do you join? You can just email a student, sjot@usa.edu for more information, or if you're ready to join right now, you can send the personal letter and letter of reference directly to that site. Keep in mind your letter of recommendation should come directly from the faculty. So it has to come from the faculty's email to SJOT. If it doesn't, we'll just ask you to resend from them. For more information, I would recommend checking out the homepage that is listed here and really looking at what the journal is and what we do, and really having kind of an understanding of that. And then I think, so just for how you can help is join into these monthly meetings, become an apprentice, become a peer reviewer, really just join us. If you can't join us, be an advocate. Like I said, if you have a classmate who's just always talking about research and how much they love it, tell them about us if they don't know. Tell them to come join us. If you don't want to do it, maybe they do. Or you both join together. Great. And if you're doing OTD and conducting research, consider submitting to us when you're done. Like keep us in mind when you're done and writing up your paper. Sorry. And writing up your manuscript. Keep us in mind for publication. And that's today's presentation link. So thanks for coming. I don't know if you guys have any questions. My voice is about to give out. So thanks for bearing with me.
So do we have any questions? We can open it up. And, if you're not ready to like engage in the whole process yet, even coming to the meetings and learning about stuff would be great for you, because, the more that you learn about the process and then you think, okay, maybe this is something I might eventually want to do, or I can tell more people about it. And especially if you're going to be going into your capstone, or you're in middle of capstone and you want to get a publication coming out of it, it really does help. You could put it on your Vita. And if you're thinking of ever teaching in higher education, grad school, eventually, that's going to look really, really good, having publications on your record, in addition to, obviously your clinical experiences and educational background. But it's a great way to kind of showcase your work, get more bang for your buck, right? So you're not only doing the research, but now you have a platform where you can submit it and get it published.
And if you know the process, it does help. Like as I develop
Yes.
my research, I'm keeping a lot of things that I've learned throughout this process in the back of my mind. Like, what is it about journals when we reject them? Why are they getting rejected? What is happening, or what is missing from these articles, or what wasn't done with enough rigor? And so now when I do my research, I'm really thinking, what do I need to do better in order to get published? And then the same, looking at the ones that are done really well, what did they do? Now, I just want to clarify too, if you are in third term or above, you can still be an apprentice if you're not sure you want to be a full peer reviewer. You can join just as an apprentice if you want to start there and get a feel for what it is.
Any questions? Is this something that you all think that you would want to move forward with? Because if so, we can, again, just submit the email to the email SOAR at you. Wait, SOAR. Go ahead. Tell them what the address is again.
SOAR at USA, or no, it's not SOAR.
Oh,
now
okay.
I'm doing it. SJOT
Yeah.
at usa.edu. Something, I don't know. All the emails forward to my email anyway. So
Yeah.
oh, somebody left.
they they heard everything they needed to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, do you have anything that you would like to add before we wrap this up?
Well, I guess this is mostly directed at the folks who aren't here who may be listening to this later on.
Okay.
And that is that part of what we do as professionals is to contribute to the profession, not just the individual clients we serve. And this is a good way to start that process early, even before you started your career, to be able to contribute to the profession by looking at things that people are submitting critically, giving constructive feedback, and then helping them get published or to prevent things from getting published that really aren't worthy of publication. Both of those are just as important. So if you think you want to contribute to the profession and start early, now's a great time to start.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. And you made it, Jennifer.
Yes.
And
Got a
Joyce, this
little
was
worried
good.
at the end there.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, so again, just SJOT at usa.edu. If you have questions, you can go directly to the SOAR website, learn more about the journal, as well as sign up there to be a peer reviewer, learn about the process, all of that. And yeah, just reach out to any of us if you have any further questions. And this recording will be posted on iLearn probably in a little bit tonight. And again, make sure that you, I put the link to in the chat to the survey. If you fill it out, and you'll get a badge for attending tonight's session. Okay, everybody, have a great night. Bye-bye.